was even thinking we should start off like even trying to sing like a Sheena song to start it off.
Okay. Which one?
I don't know, but I don't want to embarrass you since I'm such a good singer.
Yeah, why don't you just sing solo?
I was hoping you'd say that. All right, Chris, it is so great to see you.
It's great to see you as well. How are you?
God. I am good. Welcome to Loose Lips, everyone. I'm Avelli.
I'm Chris Williams.
And we are so excited for this special episode.
We really are.
But before we even get into that, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? You got in very late last night.
Yeah, I got in a little, like 1:30 maybe, 1:30 in the morning.
In Montana.
It was a AAA CPA conference through work that I had went out to, and it was so much traveling. Since May, I've been in San Diego doing the show for 4 nights, and we went a week later to Atlanta and did 5 nights there.
Wow!
And came back, had my Pride show with Jezebel. That was last weekend, and then Tuesday headed out to Missoula.
Wow! Look at you!
And this weekend's Pride, by the way. Yes.
Happy Pride, everyone.
Yeah, happy Pride. Yeah, and you're good. Everything keeping busy.
Everything's good. Status quo. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I can't believe it's
unfortunately.
It's freaking June, Chris.
I know. I want it to slow down, especially after but
yeah, this is insane. But we are going to let everybody know that our show is sponsored by Uberlube. That's right, people. Uberlube. You can go on to uberlube.com. You can get all their amazing products. We are grateful that Uberlube has been supporting not just Loose Lips, but 50 Shades of Gay. And they have amazing products that come in glass bottles, travel bottles, little, like you saw, little travel size that you can take with you. Chris, if you want, I'll send you one.
Tim, I always get jealous when Tim Moss is talking about how it adds a little sheen to his hair.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could add a little sheen to my bald head, but
you could add a little sheen to your hat. So why don't we kick the show off, Chris?
Sure. I just want to remind everyone not to forget to subscribe to your YouTube channel at Loose Lips, the podcast.
Yes, absolutely. And Facebook as well. You can head over to Facebook. Same thing at Loose Lips, the podcast.
All right. No problem. Our guest is back for a record 14 times since he first came on in 2021. He has been praised for his brilliant work on the Sheena Easton Music Project and so many other artists' milestone releases throughout the years.
Yes, he is here to chat about the biggest box set to date, the Sheena Easton Singles 1980 to 1987. Look at Vanna White showing the display. She's so amazing, isn't she? It's a 25-disc box set from her EMI journey, which is one of our favorites, obviously. We truly consider him a friend, obviously, too. We love him so much. And for sharing all the information, not just on Sheena, but artists like Prince, Beverly Craven, Weather Girls, and many more. Please welcome Adam Mattera.
Hi. Woo! Thanks for having me. Hey, thanks for having me again. It's great to be back. Thank you.
I know. This is amazing.
I can't believe it's a record 14 times since, because it's been a 5-year campaign, this Sheena Easton project. So this is now the end of the 5 years. So it's been, and you've been there for that, supporting it through the whole 5 years. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and I can't believe that first time I just reached out to you, just as a whim, I said, no, he's not going to reach out. Sure enough, you did. And we're so grateful for that. It's been such an incredible run.
Yeah, what an amazing series and campaign.
Thank you. Yeah, and this kind of, and this latest vinyl 25 disc set, I mean, it really is the big one, you know.
I mean, look at it, and a 52-page booklet.
Yes, I mean, I really had to persuade the label. I mean, at some point, I didn't think this was actually going to happen because there were so many setbacks, and there's different people to persuade. It's a very expensive thing to make, obviously, to manufacture this. But then I really it took time to really persuade. No, I want to have a booklet that's 52 pages. It needs to be thicker. We need to have picture discs for every disc. We need to have separate individual wallets designed for every single. We need to have the box. We need to have a foil on the box so it shines. All the elements that go into it. Thank you for displaying it so beautifully.
It's incredible.
It took a long time to do.
A lot of hard work. So I'm curious. So this box set, was that like in your mind when you first started the project that at the end of all this, you're going to put this together for the singles?
It was in my mind. It was in my mind. Absolutely. Yeah. There was a very good Donna Summer one that was done, I don't know, about 10 years ago or more, that I really liked, that I have. Not as big. I think it's about, I don't know how many discs that was, 20 maybe. It wasn't for her entire career. It was from a certain section of her career. And I've seen other box sets done. So I really like the idea of doing it and replicating the little original sleeves, and the whole idea of it, I think, is a really nice thing for a collector. You know,
It really is. And
really
even for a non-collector, it's just, I mean, you made it so enticing for people because you added so many bonus tracks. And to have the original sleeves, a lot of people who probably were unable to collect the 45s, and these sleeves are sturdy and will hold up for years and years. Not like vinyl sleeves, which deteriorate pretty quickly.
That's true. And of course, they all had to be not redesigned, but they had to be tweaked, amended. So the backs of them, because obviously I wanted to put the original A sides and B sides of the 7-inch singles, and the tracks on the 12 inches are all on each individual one. But there's additional stuff as well, other bonus tracks and different things I found, or so to boost them up and make them more appealing. So all the backs of the original singles had to be redone with all the correct track listings on, which wasn't as easy as one would imagine. But there's only one of those 25 didn't ever have a picture sleeve, so that there's one of those is a newly designed picture sleeve. Do you know which one it is?
I think I do, and I could be wrong. Would it be I Wouldn't Beg for Water?
That's right.
It is. Thought so.
It's I Wouldn't Beg for Water. Yeah, there was never any picture sleeve.
Is that? I remember that. Yep, 100%.
Yeah, so we had to.
And you picked the perfect one.
Yeah, and the whole design, I went back and forward with Fred to design it. Yeah, to make it like a very, so it looks of the period. Obviously the photographs of the period, but also the design elements are of the period as well. So I think it works out really well. I mean, actually it's a great sleeve. I'm really happy with that. Yeah,
it's a perfect sleeve for that.
I just want to also note, this is pretty cool too. For Fallen Angels.
Yes. That's from that's redesigned from the back of the 7-inch, I think.
Yeah.
And of course, there were lots of different sleeves, so it was also a decision to make. Like, do we go with the UK sleeve? Do we go with the Japanese sleeve? And so there were all those kind of decisions that went into it as well.
Yeah, a lot of hard work went into it, and also, who would ever thought 35 more unreleased tracks?
Yeah, and so there were things that master tapes that I'd got hold of, like the full master tapes, like the 24-track master tapes. I'd got hold of a certain track, so I could find different vocals of things that had never been heard, and do the new vocals tend to appear on things like the piano versions or the alternate versions sometimes, depending on what track it is. And all those things, some of the things which I'd have put to one side when I was doing the other albums, but most of the extra things on here were done, weren't actually held back. They were specifically for this, specifically to really, let's just make sure we can get everything we can. Yeah. So, and there's some really great ones actually. Some of the dubs are really fun. There's one which is oh gosh, I'm trying to think. One of them was Sweet Talker dubs I particularly like. There's a Shep Pettibone alternative dub of Eternity, which is great. You can hear just different sounds and different bits of vocals. Yes. Yeah. So, were there any that stood out for you on Straight Talking? I think it's a dub version of that. You can really hear her high harmonies, which are really kind of like, oh wow, she's singing so high on that. You don't really hear it when you listen to the normal track.
Yeah, she's up an octave on that one. Yeah. Great.
we rarely, yeah, it's incredible. So getting those extra tracks onto it and getting, of course, Sheena had to approve them all. So there was a whole process of sending them to her and her listening and improving. So that, yeah, I really wanted to get that on there. So it was, so it wasn't just so there was extra value for the fans, basically, and the collectors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone is extremely happy. I keep hearing and reading in the comments about how you've outdone yourself with this. I think, myself included, I wasn't expecting it to be as beautiful as it is. It really is a great packaging. And I love the book and the little details about each single and the chart peaks. And you really did a wonderful job with this.
Thank you.
As usual.
Adam, tell us how the order of the songs came about.
Well, it's a bit tricky, really, because with Sheena's career, obviously, it was very UK focused to begin with, and then it sort of, at a certain point, flips over to a US focus, kind of more or less around when she started recording in America, which was for, Best Kept Secret, really.
Yes.
And then it becomes more US led. So what I did was I decided to sequence the singles in the order, the first place they came out, regardless of whether it was US or UK or Japan in some cases. So obviously you begin with Mon Girl because that was her first ever single. Although in America it was her second single. It was the first anywhere in the UK. And then later on it gets a bit all complicated around, say, A Private Heaven, where the singles were released in different sequences, in different orders, in different territories. For example, in Britain, the first single was Back in the City. In America, the first single was Strut. But Strut was the first actually time chronologically to be released. So that's why Strut comes first, then it goes to Back in the City. Then I think it was maybe Hungry. Can't remember. Whatever sequence I put it in is the correct sequence.
Yes.
So that's just worth explaining.
Yeah, that's complicated. Yeah. That had
Yes, it was a bit complicated.
But it had to be.
There were 3 different first singles in 3 different territories.
Basically, yes, exactly. Yeah. Hungry Eyes in Japan, Strut in
US.
In the US, and Back in the City in America.
Yeah. UK. Yeah.
In UK.
Just before I forget this, I just read, I like to read old archive issues of Billboard magazine. And I know you noted that the record company wasn't planning on releasing Sugar Walls as the second single until they found out that Prince was involved with it. So I actually saw in a column in Billboard, it was the dance music column, they actually were planning on releasing Swear as the second single.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was remixed and ready. They actually printed it, the remix, and it was ready for a second release while Strut was still climbing the charts. So that was interesting because it corroborates this story of them not realizing that Prince was involved with Sugar Walls, and then once they found out, deciding to release that as the second and moving Swear to the third.
Oh, that's really interesting. I wonder whether Swear would have done better off the back of Strut. You know what I mean? Because
maybe it wouldn't have been such a shock coming off of Swear. I don't know,
Yeah, I don't know. Because the Letters from the Road was on the back of Strut, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it would have been like an opener for Swear to be the next one,
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of lends itself. And then, of course, but the real lost single from that album, it's hard to say it's over.
Without a doubt, yeah.
I think we talked about that before, but that was definitely on the cards. And Sheena and her manager had a meeting with the label about it, but they just felt, having released, in America, the US side, felt, okay, no, we don't need to do another single. We can move on. But it's a shame because I think felt like a top 20 hit for her.
That was
a top 10 hit probably on the album.
Yeah, that was a total.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many lost singles. In fact, that's what we should say. What do we each think was a great lost single from the EMI era?
Yeah. I mean, one of my top choices, and you, I think, noted it in your liner notes for this project, was She's in Love with Her Radio. I just felt like that was a no-brainer as the third single from Best Kept Secret. It just was so catchy, and also it was about the radio, like about someone being in love with the radio. What better radio single is there? What would DJs love to play, you know, than a song about someone who's in love with the radio? So it's so interesting to me, and what a hook.
Yeah.
And what a vocal. It's probably one of her best vocals as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have picked it as a single. I think it's such a, you know, a large song compared to Telephone and Almost Over You. You know, it was rock oriented. It gave me Pat Benatar, you know. I don't know if that would have been a great single, but, you know, Sweet Talk for sure.
Yeah, Sweet Talk was another one.
Yeah.
But I think either one of those, much better than Devil in a Fast Car. I don't know what they were thinking with that.
Absolutely.
It's a great song. I love it. I love the song, but it's moody. It's dark. It has no tempo in most of the verses. And then, you know, it's got a great chorus, but it just wasn't, to me, the follow-up to Almost Over You.
Yeah, yeah. What would have been what? Oh, you said Sweet Talk. You said Sweet Talk was yours.
Sweet Talk was great. Yeah, that was such a good song. And it was catchy, you know, and I think that's what they were following Almost Over You. They could have kept that going.
I think also I read that it was a real favourite of Sheena's for many years. She kept it in her live set for many years, which was unusual really for her to do album track. You know, usually she just does singles in her. The core of her set is usually singles, isn't it? So obviously she loved it.
Yeah, I remember when she was touring. Every time she would tour, she would do such a large collection from the new album. Every time a new album was coming out.
Yes. And then some of them get faded, then some of them drop out, and then it becomes just they don't hang around. But yeah, it makes sense.
It's so good. Another great feedback we're seeing on the World of Sheena Easton website is the photos, the unseen photos.
Yes.
They've been sitting there. You saw them years ago, like when you started this, or
didn't see them years ago. Really wanted to try and find something that, I mean, I've had a great access to the EMI archive, so a lot of the press shots were done, but those particular ones hadn't came across them during the process of the making of this. So those are kind of outtakes from Do You era. Yeah. The same session that was used in the cover of the Magic of Love single.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd never seen that.
This looks like it was taken from an appearance that she made in Europe, because I have seen this outfit and she was performing, and it almost looks like the same backdrop. But you know what's interesting is that this probably is one of the reasons why Do You was having a tough time, because I think she was coming off as maybe trying to be something that she wasn't, which whether or not that's true or not, but it seemed to be like a Vanity 6 / Donna.
When she did for the Do It For Love video, when I in the line notes, I think I wrote it looked like all the extras and her as well. Everyone had wandered off the set of Purple Rain.
Yeah.
I mean, all the styling was completely that, which I like. I love it.
I liked it too, and I love the look, but I think it was just too much of a change from the album before.
I don't think so, because I think if you just showed that picture, I haven't seen that yet. That was the first time I just laid eyes on it. If that was the cover for the Do You album, I think it would have completely set sales through the roof. It's a whole nother look. She changed her style with A Private Heaven and her look. Now she's going into this. I think it would have boosted sales.
Well, I definitely agree that the album cover was horrific for Do You, but I think that could have been better.
Don't they? People really hate that album cover. I liked it, but I understand. I get it. I get why. Yeah. She looks like kind of sort of drugged up, like sort of crack.
See, that would have been, I think, a great cover.
Yeah, that's a great cover, almost.
Yeah, but not as an album cover. I think that other one would have been a freaking great with, to the side with a lamppost, something.
Yeah.
Look what it did for Donna Summer. Bad Girls.
One of the best album covers of all time.
Yeah.
That is a great album cover, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would be your favorite single cover, Adam?
Oh my goodness. Oh God, I really need to think my way through them and think. I do. That's really hard. I'm going to go for. I love the cover that the original cover of the very first single of Modern Girl. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of effect on it. That sort of slightly.
Yeah.
I think it's really dramatic. I like it.
And I love it because it reminds me of the documentary when they were first playing it, and they held it up, and that was the cover.
Yes. Yeah, it's a great cover. Very different from the American sleeve is quite different, actually. So in the booklet, I've got reproduced all the sleeves from the different, not every single one, but a lot of the sleeves from different territories as well. And you can see how they've changed them, how they changed them in different places.
I loved Are You Man Enough?
Oh, that's a great sleeve, isn't it? Yeah. With the kind of the kind of animal print thing looking over shoulder.
Another cover versus, Madness Money Music cover, that would have been a great shot.
Yeah, right? I think a better shot for the album cover.
Sure.
I never liked that. There's something quite awkward about the way she's sort of moved with the hat. It isn't quite working, the cover, I don't think. I never think it quite worked right. There were much better shots, and that's one of them. Yeah. What's your favourite single sleeve, Chris?
Mine. I'll be honest with you. It was the one that you did, actually, that I never saw before. That's my favorite one.
I went back for water.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice. All the shots.
It's just for this collection, but that would have been my choice.
Yeah. I mean, I think she was on, they're all really nicely designed. They're no real bad ones, Yeah. She was so photogenic, and she worked with such great photographers.
Really photogenic. I mean, God damn. So Nick Charles asks, is this a limited edition, one printing and that's it? Because he thinks he read it somewhere that it was just a limited edition.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So once they sell out, I think that's it. That's what I've been told.
Wow.
So, so obviously with something like this, it's like I was saying, it's very expensive to manufacture. So the label don't want to print, have a load of stock that sits around and doesn't sell. And they know, they have done certain things in the past, box sets in different things, not necessarily singles box sets, but other things that, they overestimated how they sell and they don't sell and blah, blah. So with this, it wasn't a massive run. It was only a few thousand, I think. I think it was two or three. I'm not sure. 2, I think. And I was told recently there were only a couple of hundred left. Wow. And that was on pre-order. That was before it actually came out. That was like about a week before it was physically out, properly released. So it pretty much more than 3/4, a big chunk of it had already sold on pre-order. So I think it will sell out.
Oh, and how amazing is that? Just speaking for you, at $100 price point, that people are just cleaning it up.
Yeah, it's amazing. I thought it would. I kind of thought it would. You never know for sure. You know what I mean? You might think like, oh no, people don't want to buy it because it'll be too expensive, or they just think, oh, well, I've got all the main songs. I don't know. So why do I? But there's something so nice about the tangible. If you're a record collector or a CD collector, there's something I think so nice about it. I really wanted to do picture discs, to be honest, at one point. The label didn't think they would sell. So, but this, I managed to persuade them. I'm glad we did. And I'm really happy that.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah. And just
it speaks volumes on your work.
Sure. And just as a fan, to get the original, single sleeves and everything all in one package, it's, it's great, because if you weren't able to do that, because most of us were teenagers or, Ike was still in his 30s, but so he probably still had money to collect the singles back then, but we didn't have money to be collecting all these things. So it's nice to now have that opportunity to have it all in one package.
And of course, these were every single one in this era was still vinyl. This was pre-CD, pre-cassette. So going right up to eternity, these were only ever released on vinyl. These singles.
Right.
So there's that as well. They were never on CD. So some of these tracks, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of eternity, Gary wants to know about the alternate vocal version on the box set.
Yes.
Is that a vocal warm up where she's starting to sing a little bit? Like she was singing something, I forget it was something about Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that?
And you've not heard that yet, Ike, have you? Because you haven't got your box set. You haven't actually heard it.
I heard a sample of it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I heard a sample.
Yeah, it's basically, yes. On the full master of Eternity, there is that small little bit right before. I mean, it's not been added on. It's right there. She's just singing that, and then she goes straight into the track. So,
yeah, it sounded to me like she's kind of just fooling around a little bit,
goofing around in the studio. Goofing around it, like just humming self, and then they starting the song. And it's just a little bit that was left in on the thing, and I thought, it's quite cute, and I'll leave it in. And if Sheena doesn't, maybe Sheena won't like it, and she'll say, "Can you cut it out?" But she approved it, and so it stayed on. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. I love hearing those little things that you don't usually hear, like the little stuff in the studio or the outtakes, and
it's quite nice. Yes, somebody to leave those things in. Yeah, I think. There's other things on other tracks that I've come across where there's not like that, but like other bits of talking or sometimes often a countdown. There'll be someone, because this is live stuff, especially when she was doing all that stuff with like Greg Matheson. It was it's particularly on those tracks. I remember there'll be someone counting and going 1, 2, 3, and then them going back into the city or whatever. And on some takes, I think I did leave them in occasionally on certain things I've done in the past. Sometimes I edit them out. It depends what works best. But yeah.
Like Sugar Walls with all those different takes when she's speaking in between,
Oh, Sugar. Yeah, there's so many. Yeah. And there's extra version. Yeah, some extra.
That was a highlight for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that was amazing to find that. Yeah. Like when I first listened to that, and there was like, oh my God, she's doing a completely different spoken word section on Sugar Wall. No, it was that about house with a red roof.
Yeah.
Which must be why they called it the Red Mix, I think.
Right.
When they released, although it was excluded from when it was originally released. But that must have been where that Red Mix came from, because they had that in the lyric, which was edited out for that. Yeah. So. Right.
We have another question from Pepe. He said the Strut instrumental mix on the Hungry Eyes disc is very different to the Strut instrumental on the 2022 expanded edition of A Private Heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Are those both the same on the master tapes titled that way?
Yes. So, it really pleases me that people are really listening and noticing this, because that's really deep diving. I didn't think people would necessarily even pick up on that. But what it is when I was doing a Private Heaven Deluxe 3 years, whenever that was, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I had access to certain things. Oh, this is all of it. Oh, these are the instrumental tracks, and there's no vocals on them. That's the instrumental. So when it came to certain tracks on this, I was like, let's put the instrumental on again. And if Sheena approved it, and then, but I've by this point over the years found other tapes, other masters tapes, and what's specifically being referred to there is on that version of Strut. I think is the fact that there are some vocals on it. It's an instrumental, but it has certain vocal sections rather than being purely instrumental. So that's why that's just kind of like just as a little extra.
Yeah,
I have to listen again, but it sounded like, if I remember correctly, because they doubled the vocals on the chorus, and so it sounded to me like it had one of the vocals on the chorus.
Right, probably, yeah. I'm sure
and
that's
then
correct.
they added another her singing the same exact way over that to thicken the sound for the chorus.
Yeah, that would make
sense.
sense.
A common production technique back then.
There's also something called the rhythm mix of Strut, which I included in one. I think I include that on, if I'm not incorrect, I think I include that on Hungry Eyes, because Hungry Eyes, the B side of Hungry Eyes, the Japanese single, was Strut. So rather than
It is.
repeat exactly the same version of Strut that everyone knows and everyone already has, it's already in the box anyway. I thought, okay, let me find a slightly different version. So I got the rhythm mix. There it is. There's Hungry Eyes. So yeah, I love that sleeve. The rhythm mix is like an early version of Strut, and I mean, if you listen to it casually, you might think it's the same thing. It's complete. It's different. It doesn't have the big gated reverb production that
Right.
Greg Masterson did. You know, that really crashing sound that comes in right at the beginning. It hasn't got that at all. So it's an earlier thing. It's absolutely fine. It's good. But then it makes you realize the magic of production when you hear things like that. Like, oh, well, that was great. But, oh, no, this is so much better. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Piecing it all together is amazing. I love it. Yeah. Hearing it
Yeah.
from scratch to final is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And, have you ever watched, Adam, and Chris, I know you have, on YouTube, they have the reactions to people listening to Sheena, Strut and other songs as well. But hearing them for the first time, listening to Sheena sing Strut and paying attention to the lyrics, it's so good.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's very popular.
Those
And,
reactions are fun, yeah.
yeah, the reactions are a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And that song, I think, Strut was one of the songs. I think RuPaul said in some interview at some point that song was like one of his go-to lip sync songs. But it had so much attitude and so much sort of fierceness. It was perfect for a drag queen sort of, which I totally get. And it still sounds very, of course, it's of a certain, it just feels very fresh, that song. It always does, even though it's, God, it's 40 years old now. Yeah. It's just got a sort of vitality to it, that track. It's amazing. It's one of her best singles, I think.
Yeah, because you think when you listen to A Private Heaven, right, that the song is not, it doesn't sound dated at all, but then you hear Double Standard, right? And it's so funny how well Strut held up all these years.
Yeah, absolutely. But lots of people seem to think it's Prince. I've noticed when I've read comments online. But this is her Prince era, and it's like, no, it's not to do with Prince. That song had absolutely nothing to do with Prince.
It makes sense that RuPaul lip synced to that. I think I told you guys in his autobiography, he stated that he created the persona of RuPaul based on after seeing her perform on New Year's Eve on a TV show, The Lover and Me. And once he saw that, he developed the glamorous RuPaul persona.
Oh, amazing. I didn't realize there was that much kind of shit. It's funny because on the most recent episode of Drag Race All Stars, I saw he was doing a thing where they referenced the RuPaul show, the chat show he had in the 90s. And he had like Patti LaBelle on and Cher on and all these big stars. But I don't think he ever, as far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure he never interviewed Sheena Easton, did he?
He did. Did
he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was on a radio station. I think it was during Grease, when Grease was out.
Yeah, here in New York, he was a DJ and he interviewed. She stopped in and he interviewed her.
Oh wow! And was it Michelle Visage?
Yeah.
Oh, so that was after the.
That was the precursor to the was it VH1 where he first started?
Yes, I think it was VH1. Mm-hmm.
It was right. I guess they got the idea from his morning show, his morning radio show, and then
I'm gonna have to look to see if we can find it. But I believe we had a clip of it somewhere. I don't remember, Chris. Right?
Yeah, it might be on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I'll look and I'll send it to you, Adam.
Wow.
So we have another question for you from Anthony. See, Adam, nobody wants you to go away. So Anthony wants to know, have you ever thought about doing a 7-inch 45 vinyl box set of Sheena singles? Yes.
No. So no. I mean, I think now that I really pushed, like I was saying, to get this CD box across the line and to convince everyone that had to say yes to it. I can't really imagine them saying it. I think it would have been one or the other, and CD makes more sense. I don't know whether doing a vinyl one would really. It would be even more expensive to produce, I'd have thought, because vinyl was so expensive. And then that might be unrealistic price point.
And you probably couldn't include all the bonus and unreleased stuff either. You know?
Oh, of course, there's yeah, exactly, the time restrictions, of course.
Yeah.
You only could do the A side and B side on that, unless you did 12-inch vinyl. But then that would be weird. And I don't know. Is it too? No, sorry.
Yeah. Well,
we're trying to have everything.
We're trying to keep you here.
I guess they would want to know if there's any update on the MCA Universal response to.
Sure. Well, unfortunately, no. No, I'm still waiting and still hoping that MCA, that the Universal come through and approve the license for it, but it hasn't happened.
Okay.
Yet.
I do see some stuff coming up on Prince's side, like unreleased stuff, and I was always wondering if anything would have came up from that.
Prince.
Did they release something?
Yeah, but the estate seemed to be focusing on. They seem to be focusing on his stuff, like or any people he worked with. Plus, I don't know if Sheena was never signed to. I don't quite know how that. There will be. I believe that there may well be tracks that Prince had that are in the Prince vault that may belong to Paisley Park Warners actually. But if there were things that she did background vocals on, or certain things at certain points, but I don't know. I think it seems unlikely that's going to happen to me because they've only ever focused on Prince's own solo stuff. Really, they've never even done Sheena E or any of the other acts he worked with. They haven't kind of bothered with them even. So
I think they stay away from that because they're not sure of what any agreements were. Like they
probably
don't want
as
any
well.
proceedings, like. So I think stay away from the collaborations, but we'll see.
Yeah, there was a version of "You Got the Look" that leaked onto YouTube in the last year, which is a completely different extended version with different vocals and stuff.
Yeah, it caught them joking around at the end of it, which was cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's worth checking out.
I don't think I heard that.
Oh yeah,
I'll find on YouTube.
Prince says something like, "Do you know how to play the flute?" And she says, "What kind?" And then he says, "If you do, you'd play the flute if you loved me." And she starts laughing. And then she waits a little bit and she says, "My turn." So it's like a little fun play between them.
Yeah, there's probably a ton of that on there too with him. Because she said he was a jokester too, that he liked to, laugh and have a good time. So I'm sure there's a lot of outtakes from those sessions.
Sure.
And also there was, during that Prince era, she also wrote songs with him. So like there's a song that I can't remember we talked about. There's a song they wrote for Patti LaBelle that she recorded on one of her albums called Love
89, yeah.
Yeah, so there's and there was a B-side called La 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 He He He. So there's tons of stuff they did together, and stuff that I'm sure there's even stuff we've never heard of or didn't even just between them and hasn't been even made public.
Yeah. And how's Sheena feel? Like she must be incredibly grateful that all this came together so well over these last 5 years.
I think so. I haven't really directly spoken to Sheena about it, but I think she's been happy with it all. So absolutely, yeah.
So we want to give a shout out to the World of Sheena Easton for being such great supporters, just not for your project, for us posting, sharing. Miguel has been wonderful, and we decided to do 2 polls, and they opened it up on their page. And the first one is the top 5 unreleased tracks. And Adam, you start out. Oh, no, I'll start out. The number 5 is Have You Heard the Rumor? That's number 5 for the unreleased tracks. You're up, Adam.
Have You Heard the Rumor is a very number early 5. One from Take One from the first album sessions.
Yes.
Okay, so number 4. I'm confused with countdown. Number 4 in the countdown is one of my favorites. that I was thrilled I could find from the Madness, Money and Music era. It's Woman, the ballad Woman is number fourth favorite.
I love that one too.
Number 3 is the biggest surprise for me in this countdown, and that is The Rhythm of Romance with 8 votes.
Yeah, I love that song. I love it.
It's it's not one of my favorites. It's
You know what it might be is that people have heard it. It was of all these, of all the ones in this particular list, that one was around because it was on YouTube for a couple of years. So maybe people were familiar with it, and that's part of the popularity because of familiarity. I don't know. I
would have liked it if it was placed a little lower in her vocal. I feel like it's a little too high, and so. But some people are probably like that.
Lulu recorded that song, you know.
Yeah, I loved her version. Yeah.
One of the many Lulu Sheena crossover. There's so many Lulu Sheena crossover moments in her career.
Lulu poo poo. Sheena's vocals were so much better, especially at the end. She just was just belting it out. I loved it.
Yes.
Okay, am I number 2?
You're number 2.
Okay, and this is one of my favorite. I probably would have picked this as my top 5, my number 1. Have you ever been in love from the Private Heaven unreleased tracks? That is,
wow. Could have been a single.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it could have been a hit for her. I don't know whether it would have how it would have fitted on that album particularly. It didn't.
No, that's probably why they kept it off. That's probably.
Yeah, they probably thought they had enough ballads.
Yeah,
but it is a great song.
I would have replaced it with All by Myself.
So would I have.
Yeah, it's a better song than All by Myself.
Yeah,
true. But I don't know sound wise whether it quite fits in with the album in the same way. I don't know. It's still a great track. Okay, so we get to. So we've had number 5, Have You Heard the Rumor? Number 4, Woman. Number 3, Rhythm of Romance. Number 2, Have You Ever Been in Love? The number 1, drum roll, Don't Wake Me Up from My Dream.
I know. This is another surprise for me. Not because I like it, but I'm really surprised at how many people just love this song. Because it wasn't, when I first heard it, it was kind of like, okay. I mean, now I get it. Now it's kind of like grown on me, but I definitely preferred the other 2 up-tempo ones from that period that were unreleased.
Yeah. I love that track. And
There and Is It True?
Is It True is great. I love that one. But Don't Wake Me Up from My Dream. And someone else said it on the page, I think, this week as well. It feels like a soundtrack song for sure.
It really does.
I get that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really does feel like an 80s soundtrack number, like So Far So Good actually was. It does feel of that era. But you know, another interesting thing I found out about that song, which I only found out literally today, was it was written by Amy La Television. Isn't that the most amazing kind of 80s sounding name ever? Yes, Amy La Television. And Danny Sambello, the brother of Michael Sambello, Maniac.
Yeah.
It was written by them. And I thought no one had ever recorded the song. But then I was looking and I found it was recorded after Sheena's recorded it and released the year in 88 by Kenny Rogers Jr., the son of Kenny Rogers. Only ever made one album, which is not really a country album. It's kind of like a sort of pop. I haven't listened to the whole album, but I just listened. The reason I hadn't realized it before is because it has a slightly different title. It's just called "Don't Wake Me Up." His version, but it's exactly the same song. So you can look on YouTube, check out Kenny Rogers Jr. "Don't Wake Me Up." Same song.
That's cool.
Isn't that a weird coincidence? Like, you know, obviously Sheena and Kenny were a thing, and then she records this song. It doesn't come out, but actually Kenny's son recorded it.
And how does he sound as a singer? Does he sound good?
He sounds fine. He sounds very.
You don't have to worry. Kenny's not going to hear.
Generic. He doesn't sound like Kenny.
Fine. I love that.
He sounds like, you know, he's in tune and he's fine. He doesn't sound like someone. You know, it's difficult, isn't it? Like, you know, Frank Stallone. You know,
That was
then again, Liza Minnelli. Oh, no, that's a child. That's not the same.
right.
No, we are talking about children. We're talking about fathers.
Yeah.
Children. So sometimes a child of someone famous doesn't
Right.
always work out.
Right.
But, you know, who are the two Iglesiases? The two Julio.
Enrique.
Julio and Enrique. And Enrique probably does not sing as well as his father, but he wound up selling more records than his father.
You think
You
Julio
think he did?
sounded better than Enrique?
You think Enrique sold more than Julio?
I thought so. Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Maybe.
He wound
But
up
there was
selling-
another one. There was another brother, another son that had records. It was nowhere near as successful as Enrique. I can't remember his name.
I didn't think Julio was that great of a singer.
He wasn't great,
He was hugely popular.
have
wasn't
you
he?
heard Enrique some tapes that have been leaked by him?
No.
Yeah, you should go check that out, and then you might understand why I'm saying that.
Well, I don't know. But when Julio and Diana sang together, I couldn't tell them apart. So whatever. All
I
right,
remember
let's
that
go
song,
into our
all of you. Yeah.
Yes, all of you. Remember that one? I love Diana. Or Julio Ross. So there was the top 5 favorite solo singles. This is my favorite too. So we're going to start out with number 5. Adam.
Okay, so it's our top 5 singles, A-sides from the EMI era.
Yes.
At number 5, we have You Could Have Been With Me. Bit of a surprise that. Great song. I'm glad it's number 5. I'm glad it's in the top 5.
Yes. Okay. Chris.
No, I think you go. Right?
Do I? Or am I supposed to start? You're right. Oh, well. So this is a tie for third. So it was 3 and 4, really, if you think about it. So it For Your Eyes Only and Strut.
All right.
I love
And number 2, one of my favorites, Telephone.
Right. Okay.
Telephone's
And
good. Yeah.
Adam, the
Good,
number 1.
The number 1, and this is a big surprise to me. I would have assumed that Morning Train's going to be in the top 2 or 3. Of course, it's one of the big. But no, number 1, it's Almost Over You. But that song
And
was
by
really,
a landslide.
Yeah.
Really, was
40.
it by that? But yes.
Yeah, a lot.
Oh yeah, it's a big jump. It's not amazing.
You know
Yeah.
what?
Because it wasn't like her biggest.
No, but I
Maybe.
think this is the misstep I think the record company made with regards to trying to move her in a younger sound with the single selection.
Mhm.
Almost Over You was, a top 5 hit on the adult contemporary charts, and it only reached number 25 on the pop charts. And some would look at that as like a failure, but now when you look back at, it's one of her most popular songs. And that's because it was on in the car, with people's parents. It was on elevators. It was, when you have an adult contemporary hit, I think, especially when it reaches the top of the charts, it does kind of stay in the consciousness of pop consumers. And so I think that to move forward, like to not release Hard to Say It's Over as a single, to always try to not release Follow My Rainbow as a single, like the ballads that would have crossed over to adult contemporary was a mistake, especially with her, because that was her appeal, is that she could do both so well,
Mhm. It was hard. Yeah, I guess it was hard decisions to make when you were picking the singles. But I mean, Almost Over You, Telephone was the right choice because she had done so many ballads at this point off the heels of, I think We've Got Tonight, right? And then I Wouldn't Beg for Water. And so I
They
think
needed
that,
to freshen up her younger demographic.
Mhm.
I think that they did a good job with that album with
Mhm.
both.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it did feel that Madness, Money and Music, which of course was a dip sales-wise in her progression in her career. My favourite album, probably, I would say, it's certainly up there, of hers. But it was an album that could have been recorded by a woman 10 years older than her at that point. She was a girl. She was still in her early 20s. You know, he was recording music that was a lot more mature necessarily than she was, which wasn't a problem for me, but commercially obviously didn't connect at that point, for a whole number of reasons, I'm sure. But the need to kind of reconnect her with MTV, with things like Telephone and Strut and whatever, totally made sense. But not every every decision that was made was worked out. And I don't think it's always about whether it was the right choice of song or video or anything. It could be so many different things, you know. Like Magic of Love is a great track. That to me is a hit. Yeah. Maybe if it had been put out as the first single from the album, it would have been. Yeah, I don't know. I think
it would have been.
But you know,
so
it's so easy in retrospect. So far, so good.
You know what's interesting about the Magic of Love? When you look at I remember the inner album jacket of Do You, it had a different chronological order of the songs. And I feel like yeah. So like Magic of Love was the opener.
Yeah,
so
it was.
To me, that means that at some point that was the order of and I feel like maybe Magic of Love was going to be considered to be the first single. And then because I know Do It For Love was the last song to be recorded. And so maybe it was a last minute decision to like choose that as the opener. It would have been, you know, we'll never know, but it would be nice to have a time machine and go back and pick what we think, and then have like, you know, they have fantasy football. We could have fantasy.
Yeah. I can't wait for tomorrow. Don't Break My Heart. They would have all been great first singles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't Break My Heart. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. That's so catchy.
Oh, I love that song. Yeah. So
and of course, they went with Jimmy Mac.
Yeah.
Which is the
Jimmy
only,
Mac. Yeah.
Am I right in thinking, I'm just going to throw it, is that the only cover version that Sheena ever released as a single?
Yes.
I think it is, right? I mean, obviously, later on she did Giving Up, Giving In at the very end with a covers album, but I don't think she ever released another cover.
Well,
no,
we've got Tonight.
We've got Tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
But that was a duet, but solo-wise,
yeah.
I don't think she recorded them on her albums, but she didn't necessarily ever release. It was all original songs that she was tending to release.
And usually the covers, like In the Winter, wouldn't have been something that would be released as a single. Love and Affection, I thought could have been. You know, I thought that was a single.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, good. All right, we're going to do one more thing, and this is just between the three of us, and it's our top 3 B-sides. Okay? So, who wants to go first?
I can go first.
You go first.
All right.
Because I haven't thought of my top 3. I thought of my top 1. I haven't thought of my top 3. I'm thinking. And I don't want to copy what you've said, so I will think.
Do we want to go round table with number 3 first, and then do number 2, and then do number 1? Or do you want to go down?
No, okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's all
so my number 3.
I'll do a number 2, and then I'll do a number 1.
My number 3 would be Letters from the Road. And that would be my number 3 because it's kind of like Sheena with the E Street Band, with the backing Max Weintraub kind of drum beat and the saxophone solo and her vocal. I just felt it was fresh and a great B-side to Strut. Indicated kind of the direction she was going with, but it didn't sound like anything on the album, so it made sense why they kept it as a B-side.
Yeah, that was mine as well. Letters from the Road, and I loved it because I was hoping, after I did hear She's in Love with the Radio, I was hoping for something edgy on the Private Heaven album when it came out, and then when I heard this on the B-side, I thought, oh wow, this is really good, and it was like raw.
Yeah,
like, she's talking about life on the road. I thought this is another Pat Benatar kind of like rocky, edgy kind of song.
Yeah.
You, Adam?
Absolutely. Her vocal is great, isn't it? Okay, so my number 3, it's a very slight song in a way. It's so delicate, and it's more folky than anything else that was on the album. So I understand why it wasn't on the debut album. And the song's Moody My Love. It's just such a lovely little song that she sings so delicately, and it's just one of my favourites. So that's my number 3, Moody, which was a B-side of 95.
Yes.
Yeah, her first co-write, which she said that Chris Neal just wanted her to experience what it was like to write the lyrics to a song. And you know, an interesting time period for them during that time, because they could be a lot more creative because there was no defined sound for a Sheena Easton song. And so you found the B-sides especially were very adventurous. And that was like you're saying, a very folksy kind of song that they knew kind of, we're not going to have this on the album, so let's just have fun. And they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
my number 2 song would be Fallen Angels. I love this track. I think it was just from the shredded guitar, probably the most rock guitar solo in her career, to her vocals on the bridge with a breakdown. It was very hardish before it came out before These Dreams. And it was just, you know, to me, it could have been a song by heart, but again, I would love to know, maybe Adam, you know when that was recorded, but it felt like it was recorded for a B-side, like it wasn't recorded with the intention of being on the album.
I am not 100. I mean, I could probably find out if I went through, because some of the original tapes have dates on them, the masters, but I don't have that to hand right now, so I'm not sure whether it was recorded. I know for sure that, because I spoke to Christopher Neal, for example, that when they were doing Madness Money Music, they had a specific B-side session in Paris a few months after they recorded, and it was like, these are going to be B-sides, because Sheena very much was like, both of them really were like, we want to have extra material on B-sides, wanted specifically. So they weren't like tracks that were being considered for the album, they were separate things like gosh, I can't remember what all the B-sides were from off the top of my head.
Loner,
that era. Loner,
so
exactly.
Paradox.
So Say Goodbye, and no, that was earlier, I think. Although that was certainly that. Yeah, I was talking specifically for Madness Money Music, but Paradox was never going to be on the album.
Woman would say.
But there's a track called Some of Us Will, which was part of the B-side session, which never ended, which did end up on the B-side, Some of Us Will. Whether Fallen Angels was or not, I don't know. To me, that would be a great track on the album. I mean, that's a stronger track than, say...
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know that fit the album sound. The album was a little more polished. Like that was more in line with what, like, raw, like Ike was saying about Letters from the Road. To me, it was a little edgier.
That's a great choral. That choral section is fantastic.
Yeah, they could have got a second album. I mean, it's too bad they never worked together again after that, because they could have did Fallen Angel, Letters from the Road. What was the side that never had the lyrics that was on? That was the unreleased track from A Private Heaven. That
have you
didn't have the lyrics.
No,
it was just the instrumental.
Oh, yeah, the lyrics. Sorry.
In It to Win It.
Gosh, what was that?
In It to Win It. That's it.
In It to Win It.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I would have loved to, because those all were like raw, just the drums and the bass, and I love that. So if you listen to Fallen Angels, though, in the beginning, doesn't it remind you of Halloween, Michael Myers? The way it kicks off. Dun, 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 dun. No?
Yes. I never thought of that before. Yeah.
It does. I have a thing for Michael. What can I tell you? All right, so my second choice, it was very hard, because I do like So We Say Goodbye, but I went with Family of One. because I love the storyline behind it, and it was really good. The vocals, everything. It was a little raw in her vocal too. I loved it.
Yeah, it's that to me
Love that
too.
song.
I don't know why, but it always makes me think of Alicia Keys. It sounds like an Alicia Keys song.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
could picture Alicia Keys singing that song, covering that.
yeah. She got a little soul in her voice on that one. I
Yeah.
love you, Adam.
Okay, so my number two would be, you just mentioned it, So We Say Goodbye.
Oh, perfect.
Love a piano ballad. It's so simple. It's
Mhm.
so stripped down. It's such a beautiful, concisely written little song.
Yeah,
And she performs it with such soulfully, and yeah. So We Say
yeah,
Goodbye. I was sort of thinking about Wish You Were Here Tonight, but I think So We Say Goodbye
yeah.
is my number two.
I have a feeling we all have the same number one. Just curious. Let's see. Go ahead, Chris.
I don't think so. I think mine's going to be different than you two. I think I may know what you two are, but I'll let you know. My number
Okay.
one is Straight Talking.
Oh,
Um, I
Oh my
just
gosh.
I
Wow.
love this song so much. Again, I kind of understood why they kept it off. I think it's the perfect B-side to Sugar Walls. I think it could have been a single. It's got a Tina Marie-ish kind of vibe. Sheena co-wrote the lyrics, and actually, I think she just wrote the lyrics, and it's just a funky song. It had a different type of vocal for her. I think it was a precursor to the next album,
yeah,
take more of an R&B-ish direction. But yeah, it's just, and I love the harmony, like that now you can hear in the TV mix, the octave up. It's incredible.
yeah. I can't
When
wait
you
to hear
sing,
that. Yeah,
hey, you, what do?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
It was so catchy.
Interesting. The B-sides were all mixed. So great. We're all different there in the US and UK, because you just said like Straight Talking is was the B-side of Sugar
Sugar
Walls
Walls.
in America, right?
Yeah.
In the
Yep.
US, in the UK, it was the B-side of Strut. So it's that's they didn't follow the same pattern. They started using the B-sides differently in different territories, which is interesting.
Yeah. So funny how they thought what was going to work best
So,
other
Ike,
places.
what's your number one?
My number one is Wish You Were Here Tonight, for sure. Because, again, when I heard Family of One, that was that little soulful vocals. And then on this one, oh, it was perfection. Perfection to me. And you, Adam?
Such a great song. When I interviewed Jay Graydon
Mm.
about the tracks he recorded with Sheena for that album, I asked him about Wish You Were Here Tonight. And he was like, and I was like, oh, and that one, he was surprised, because obviously he does, I imagine with someone like him, he's doing so much work, he just did it and then gave it to the record company and then moved on to the next thing. He was shocked to find out that it didn't make the album cut. He was like, that wasn't included in the album? That was one of the best things I did. He was like, that was one of the best things I did with her. Why wasn't that on the
Yeah.
album? I was like, I don't know, I'm sorry. But
What if she
yeah,
goes over
it's- it
Don't
is-
Leave
it
Me
is-
This Way? I would have picked that over Don't Leave Me This Way. 100%.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a great song. Originally recorded by Ray Charles.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
How great would that be?
So, and my number one is Family of One.
Oh,
Just mentioned it for
wow.
your number two, Mike. I think that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I love that song. It was on the B side of You Could Have Been With Me in the UK, and I played it over and over again, and I think it's one of her best. It's one of my favorite song recordings by her ever, actually.
Yeah.
It's a great song, and like you were saying, the storyline of it and whatever, and the moodiness
Yeah.
of it.
Did you ever ask Chris Neal about that
There's just
song?
something fascinating about it.
Did you ever ask Christopher
I think
Neal
I
about that
did.
song? Did he say, because
Yeah,
to
I
me,
think I did.
that vocal sounded to me like it was a demo vocal. It was a little rawer than when we used to hearing. It sounded like they were just trying to get the feel of the song, like we've heard other demo vocals. And that to me didn't sound like a final vocal. And that's why I think we like it so much, because it is a different type of sound for her.
It could be, yeah, it could be. Maybe I didn't talk to him specifically about that, because I don't remember. I would have asked him, did you record that for the album? Was it a separate B-side session, and all those questions? But I think maybe it was Peter Vale, I'm pretty sure, co-wrote that. Is that right?
Peter Vale.
I think it might have been a
was
Vale
it
and
Leeson
song.
Yeah, it was Leeson, I thought, for sure.
I think it might have been. Okay, so it was probably a Vale and Leeson song, because I was communicating with Peter Vale on email, and I remember him talking about the song and saying how they wanted to reflect, the Sheena had become a big star, but sometimes she was alone. It was trying to write a lyric for her that was kind of reflective of her life at that moment. That she had this. There was a loneliness. Outside all the fame and the whirlwind of fame, she's going back, And I think there's a connection she seems to have with that song.
Well, that's why
it could never have been a hit.
Yeah, but it was such a classic. It was a gold mine to me it was the backside, I think, of When He Shines for us.
Ike, you missed my little joke with you.
Oh, what'd you say?
I said, yeah, that's why Ike connects to it so much.
A family of one, I know. She can run. She can fall in love.
When He Shines in
I did. Yeah. I did not expect that to be Adam's number one, but I did expect that you were going to say "Wish You Were Here Tonight" was your number one, and that was my number 4. That was
your number 4.
Yeah,
okay,
it is a great song.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
And there's there's so many other ones we didn't. I mean, like Summer's Over. That's a great. Wow. I mean, that's a lovely little song. I always think of that song towards the end of the song. It just comes into my head. It's a lovely kind of wistful thing, like almost like an Astrid Gilberto kind of vibe to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Such eclectic piece of music.
Yeah, and such range that she had in those songs as well. Mm-hmm. From like Letters from the Road that you mentioned, and a few years earlier she was recording stuff like Moody My Love. It's like 2 different artists almost.
Yeah. The first album alone set the tone of what we were to expect, between pop, a little country, a little R&B, a little rock,
It's interesting because you mentioned When He Shines. In America, When He Shines was like her 4th single in the UK, 5th single in the UK. And on the first debut album in America, they heard that song and were so convinced it was a massive song for her that they held it back and included it on her second album in America. Mm-hmm. With the idea, we've got this ace in our hand now, and this will be a big one for her. But it didn't. It did well. It was a top 30 pop hit in America, but it wasn't like a massive hit. I just wondered whether, having been there at the time and hearing it, why you thought that might be, why it wasn't quite as big as it deserved to be in America.
I personally think that when she sang that song on the Tonight Show for the first time, that was their let's get it out right now. Put it out. That song is going to blow up. I think it would have did top 10.
Yeah, I think it was timing. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that they heard that song in the U.S. and held it for the second album. I know that's someone told you that, but to me, it doesn't make sense. I've never heard of a record company.
The writer told me. Florrie Palmer told me that.
Yeah, I've never heard of a record company saying, we're going to sit on this song because we know it's a surefire hit till the next album. Like, to me, I think the U.S. just felt like it wasn't commercial enough for the first album. And I think Ike's right. I think when she performed it on the Tonight Show, when the second album wasn't even out, there was a reaction. People were calling record stores and saying, where can I find that song? It's not on the first album. And I think that's when the record company decided, because like I think we told you that the initial pressings of You Could Have Been With Me gave credit to Isn't It So on the back of the album, which meant that it was originally going to be on that album, the US version. I think they, at the last minute, because of the Tonight Show, they placed it on the second album instead of Isn't It So. And then they released it as the second single. But I think it was the timing issue. I think if the US record company had decided to release it on the first album and then she went and performed it on the Tonight Show, they would have released it as the next single, probably after For Your Eyes Only.
It's odd that she was performing songs on primetime television in front of these huge audiences that were, in the case of When It Shines in the US, it wasn't even available at that point. There were no plans to release it. That seems like an odd thing to do. But then, of course, it happened again with A Hard to Say It's Over. She would sing that on a lot of TV shows. Maybe hoping, you'd think that it would have been very much more coordinated with, I'm going to perform these songs, and everyone at the label and everyone in management is going to agree what songs I'm going to perform because we have a plan here. But it sounds like there wasn't necessarily an agreement.
I think at that point, Sheena and her management probably wanted to show American audiences that she could do more than just mid-tempo pop, the Morning Train, Modern Girl. So I think whenever she did appearances on TV shows, she liked to show the two different sides to her.
Right. Makes sense. Makes sense. Because, of course, in Britain, it was the same thing. The same thing with that song, When He Shines, because she'd had 3 songs back to back that were all quite pop and whatever, and then she was doing the Royal Command performance, and for the first time people heard When He Shines, and it was like, wow. It was one of those moments where we all know this person, we've all heard her and had this idea of what she can be and what she may be, and suddenly it's like there's a whole other thing going on. This, you can sit up and take notice. This is a real singer. She's a great singer.
She's great.
She could be in musicals, stage musicals. She can do what's going on. Yeah. Which is very exciting. But of course, in Britain, they didn't release it straight away, but it was on the album, and they released it 4 months later as the final single. And it was a top 10 hit.
So incredible. My God. But Adam, thank you so much. This has been incredible. I want to tell you, from day one when we met, and you have brought so much happiness to so many people in these last 5-6 years. It's just incredible. I'm like a teenager when it's coming out. Whenever something new, it's new unreleased tracks, it's like hearing it for the first time. Obviously, it's like being a kid again for me. And I know the World of Sheena Easton page, they are just as excited every time you put something out. The work you've done is incredible. The hard work shows.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
one of the best accolades is when I'm in an outside fan page like Olivia Newton-John or Donna Summer, and I see in the comments, I wish you guys would get Adam Mattera to do the CD reissues like he did for Sheena Easton. So everyone notes just how lucky we were to get you as the person to do this campaign. And just, we would not have heard any of these In the Vault recordings had it not been for your involvement. And not only that, but just the way you did it was just class from the get-go. Everyone was just, you can see, treated with such care and respect from a fan. So thank you again, Adam. You're the best.
Yes, absolutely. And well, we're not going to say goodbye because we may have something in the works outside of Sheena. We'll let everybody know in the future, but we can't say goodbye to you. You're an amazing friend to us.
You're the Alec Baldwin of the Loose Lips podcast. Alec Baldwin, for some reason, he was the most number of times hosting Saturday Night Live because he's very funny.
Yes, I think
so. You are the Alec Baldwin of the Loose Lips.
The Alec Baldwin of the Loose Lips.
He's like the Alec Baldwin without a gun.
That's right. Thank God. Well, thank you guys for having me on, because I've loved it and it's been really fun. I'm so glad that we
Thank you. You
ended up doing
so
this.
amazing. So everybody, hold up the box set, Chris. Everyone can go to Cherry Records to pick up their box set. Get it now. It's limited edition. And you could also get it on Amazon.com, which is, where I also purchased mine. But get it now. Look at that. It is a piece of work. A piece of work, blood, sweat, and tears. And you made everybody so very happy with this.
I'm just realizing now that I probably would have had a lunchbox like this back in the day.
The good old metal ones with the thermos that had chemicals in it. Thank you, Adam.
Yes.
We can't wait. We're gonna work together on something else, but we are so excited to do that as well. But thank you again for everything.
Thank you guys. Yeah. All right.
Take care, guys.
Well,
Bye.
bye.
Adam.